Hello, say hi to a happy day and enjoy listening while I read to you a story. How Miss Cow Was Milked. Late one afternoon, Brer Rabbit was on his way home after a good day rooting about in Brer Fox's peanut patch. As the long shadows stretched out across the dusty ground, he stopped and yawned. I sure could do with something to drink, he said to himself. Just then he spied Miss Cow grazing peacefully in the meadow. He would love a drink of milk, but he knew that Miss Cow would not give him some. No siree. He had asked once before and she had sent him on his way with a toss of her horns. So he would have just to think of a plan. "Howdy, Sis Cow," he said as he leaned over the fence. "Why, howdy, Brer Rabbit," replied Miss Cow, and she carried on chewing the sweet grass. "How's life treating you this day, Sis Cow?" said Brer Rabbit, all polite and respectful. "Just fine, thank you," replied Miss Cow, gazing at him with her big brown eyes. "And how's life treating you?" "No complaints," said Brer Rabbit, smiling sweetly. "Could you do me a little favor, Sis Cow?" Brer Rabbit went on, all big eyes and innocence. Miss Cow stopped chewing and looked up at him. "I see there are some mighty fine persimmons in that there tree. I sure would like to taste some of that fruit," said Brer Rabbit, pointing to a large tree growing in the meadow. "If you shake the trunk, then they will fall down off the branches and we can share them." Now Miss Cow was a friendly creature and all too happy to oblige. She ran to the tree and banged her horns hard against the trunk, but not one fruit fell down. Then Miss Cow took several steps backwards, lowered her head, and ran at the tree at full speed. Not one fruit moved from the branch, and it was no wonder, as they were as green as grass and nowhere near ripe enough to fall. As Brer Rabbit knew full well, then Miss Cow backed up again. This time she hit the tree so hard that it was a wonder she didn't knock herself out of the spot. But what a shock she had when she came to step away from the tree and found that she couldn't move. One of her horns was stuck in the trunk. Brer Rabbit smiled to himself for his plan and worked perfectly. Off ran that Willy Brer Rabbit, and pretty soon he was back with all his little children, and each one carried a clanking milk pail. The children clustered so tight around Miss Cow that you would hardly see her, and right in the very center of them sat Brer Rabbit on the three-legged stool, milking away for all he was worth. He filled pail after pail with the sweet warm milk, and pretty soon he had milked Miss Cow dry. When he was done, he tipped his hat politely. "I realized you might be stuck there all night and figured that you'd be pretty sore carrying all that milk, so I thought I'd help you out. Kind of a good deed, you might say." And with that, he set off home, with all his children following him behind him carrying their full milk pails. Miss Cow was furious. She pulled and she tugged, and she tugged and she pulled. All night long she tried to free herself, but it wasn't until daybreak that she finally tugged her horn out of the trunk. And all the time she had been tugging, she had been thinking hard about how to get her own back on that pesky Brer Rabbit. She reckoned he would be coming along that way soon, so she stuck her horn back in the tree trunk. She had got a trick up her sleeve for sure, but that cunning Brer Rabbit returned bright and early, and he saw Miss Cow, her horn back in the hole. He smiled to himself. Miss Cow would have to be smarter than that if she was going to catch him out. Then he came strolling by whistling a tune and looking a picture of innocence. "Morning, Miss Cow," he said, "and how are you this morning?" "Not too good," she said with a groan. "Try as I might, I just can't pull my horn free from this tree." "Mighty sorry to hear that," said Brer Rabbit. "Perhaps I can help." "Perhaps you can," said Miss Cow. "If you stood behind me and pulled my tail real hard, why you must just pull that horn free." "Maybe," said Brer, "but pulling's thirsty work. I'd need a drink of milk afterwards if you'd be so kind." Well, Miss Cow was so mad that Brer swore he saw real steam coming from her nostrils with a loud moo. She pulled her horn from the hole as if from butter. She raced down the meadow after Brer Rabbit, and the earth trembled under her hoofs. But at the bottom of the field was a large bramble patch, and that lucky rabbit was soon safe inside the bushes. How he laughed! "There isn't one animal I know who can get the better of old Brer Rabbit," he boasted happily. The end. I hope you enjoy listening to this story, How Miss Cow Was Milked. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to listen to more of our favorite book stories. See you soon.